Beatrice Marquardt, written by her son Randall Marquardt. My mom lived a full life. She was the fourth of five children of Arthur and Lillian Judas. She was preceded in death by three of her siblings, Jerome, Dorothy, and Ronnie. My mom was born on March 21st, 1929, 6 months before the start of the Great Depression. The family lived on 85th Street in Wauwatosa, and her dad, Art, was a contractor builder. I remember Mom telling me that they were well-to-do, but once the Depression hit, Grandpa lost the empty lots he owned, home building collapsed, and Grandpa went back to farming. In 1932, they moved to Columbus, where they had no electricity and used kerosene lamps. Then to Menomonee Falls, and then finally to Eagle in 1938, at the age of 9, where her dad bought a 276-acre farm just south of town. As the Depression got worse, she said the house would be full of relatives on weekends who would come out from Milwaukee. Her mom would cook for everyone. She said she remembered the bread layings and how once they took a calf to auction and got 75 cents. Everyone was expected to do their part in doing the chores. She started milking cows when she was 8 while they were in Menomonee Falls. She saw her older brothers and sisters doing it and asked her dad if she could. She said she thought it would be fun. In hindsight, she said it was one of the stupidest things she ever did. The farm in Eagle had over 50 cows, and Mom and Betty had to get up early in the morning before school to milk and also again after school. Mom and Betty prayed every night for her dad to get them a pony. They would crawl up on the fence and jump on the cows' backs and ride them home from the pasture. They even rode on the pigs' backs. They had a nanny goat named Queenie that they tied up to a wagon. Finally, their prayers were answered when she was 6 years old with a horse named Dolly. Unfortunately, Dolly was too lame to be ridden, so at age 7, Fritzy came along. Fritzy was a former circus pony and had free run of the farm and was rarely tied up. There were many a times that she'd be called out of the 4-room grade school to fetch Fritzy, who was walking down Main Street. In the spring and fall, it was Mom and Betty's job to bring the cows in from their big pasture for water. One would ride Fritzy and get the cows, and the other would take the cows back out, all during their lunch hour from school. Fritzy was gentle and excelled at bareback riding and jumping. She and Betty would sing to him. Her love for horses continued while I was growing up. After Fritzy came Roddy, and after a gap of time, Goldie, Poncho, and finally Clipper. Clipper was a high-strung horse. She said that when you got on him in the spring for the first ride, you could always say a prayer. Mom rode Clipper until she was 69 years of age. I remember the stories that she would reminisce of her and Betty catching mice in the barn. They would tie a string around them and play with them. Of going to the bandstand on Wednesday evenings for the free movies. She used to say everyone brought blankets to sit on, and it was always packed. Of the first Kettle Moraine days started by Mike Sasso. Of the many days spent swimming at either Pewaukee Lake or Booth Lake. Mom took pride that she was the valedictorian of her class in Eagle. What she'd leave out was that Eagle only went to 10th grade, and she had a class of 9. You had to go to McGuanago for their last 2 years. Anyhow, Mom graduated from McGuanago High School in 1947 and started work as a private secretary for 80 cents an hour at Trent Tube. She met my father Jerry Marquardt, and they were married in 1949. She left the workforce and became a domestic engineer, though she did take some classes at the technical school to learn toll painting. For 7 years, my mom and dad rented. During the rental years, she recalled when they were renting the old McCaffrey's house. She said she would go to bed at night and see mice looking down from the ceiling. Mom never took driver's education classes like they have now. She got her driver's license when she was 20, having never driven a car in her life. Back then, you went down to Eagle Lake and walked into the office and got your license. She was asked, "Who taught you?" She said, "Jerry," and they gave her a license. My mom was shaped by her childhood upbringing in Eagle. Mom would always say that she would love to go back and relive her childhood, which she said was like a Norman Rockwell painting. God blessed her with a wonderful childhood. Mom raised 4 children, Judy, Roger, myself, and David. But unfortunately, she had to experience the burden of seeing 2 of her children pass into the next life. Roger, my older brother, passed at age 21, and my younger brother, David, passed at age 27. Eventually, her dad subdivided part of the farm and created Park Avenue. In 1956, 7 years after they were married, Grandpa helped them build their first house. It was the only house she ever knew, and she lived there for 61 years. That's where I was born and raised. Mom was an active member of St. Teresa's Catholic Church and sang in the choir for 65 years. She was also active in the local historical society. She loved bowling, playing sheep's head, and meeting with friends, of whom she had a lot. She loved to travel, especially going out west and seeing the mountains. Her very first trip was to Mackinac Island. She was fortunate to have taken trips to Europe, the Caribbean, British Columbia, and Hawaii. She lived long enough to see her grandchildren graduate from high school and in some cases college. Also to see great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. What will I miss of my mom? Number 1, her sense of humor. For everyone who knew her, they must have encountered them. Like the Arab and Polish man in a poetry contest, or Jimmy and Johnny talking like adults, or Luke and Sam the cowboys. This list goes on. Number 2, her quirky little sayings. Cheese and crackers. Guten Himmel, that's God in heaven. Behave or I'll pull down your pants and slap your face. I save water and lick myself clean. Tough titty, said the little kitty, but the milk was good. Number 3, her kind-hearted spirit and simplistic view of life. My mom had a deep faith. She believed in the afterlife and often spoke of heaven and seeing the departed souls. She said that she wanted to see Roger and David again. I'd like to close by sharing a poem by David Harkins. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what she'd want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on.